In the Jupiter at Night system, the live audience is represented by two separate but equally important groups: the podcasters that investigate the stories and the beards that make fun of them. These are their stories.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
My name is Jeremy.
Hey there, J-Man.
Still not in the studio.
No, another snowed-in day. Now, that means he's on Skype, and so with the way our capture system works, there's a little delay with his lips. But now that I mentioned it, you won't be able to not stare at it. So now try not to stare at it in order to defy me.
I'll just do the whole show like this.
There you go.
You'll never notice.
Now, we got to be honest, it is sort of our last day of the week. We normally go Tuesday through Thursday, but because of the holidays, we're going to take an easy one. Today's going to be the last day. So we're going to have a fun one.
We're hoping we have fun with this.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Black Friday. And
who doesn't like shopping,
right? Well, actually, we'll get into that. I might have a story there for you. But Black Friday, you're probably familiar with it if you're in the U.S., but outside the U.S., it's sort of known for its crazy shopping day in the U.S. It's just mass consumerism, people getting trampled at Walmart, and things like that. But and I think we've both got a few stories to share, but why don't we kind of talk a little bit about the history of it?
I would love to, Christopher.
All right, J-Man.
Thank you for throwing that over to me. I will tell you the history of Black Friday. Well, this all started, actually. The term was originated back in, I guess, in the 60s in Philadelphia, and it used to be a very negative term. Like, Black Friday was like the worst day of the year. The term originated from taxi drivers and bus drivers, and they were always talking about Black Friday because of the traffic.
I thought it was like a stock market thing, like a stock market crash, and it was like the worst day.
There is a Black Friday that's a historical Black Friday. I think it was a stock market crash, but that's a different Friday.
Interesting.
That's a little bit blacker.
I didn't know that. I gotcha.
Yeah, no, this one originated just as traffic woes from taxi drivers and bus drivers, because the day after Thanksgiving, not only did people historically gone shopping, which is kind of where it led to, but also people just returning home after Thanksgiving just led to traffic snarls, billions in the Philadelphia area.
I see.
Yeah. So that's where it started, and then it kind of got picked up by the local retailers, and they started calling it Black Friday. And in the 80s, I guess it started to take on a different meaning. People started giving it a financial twist.
Okay.
And you've probably heard the story, the term "in the red."
Yeah.
That's when you're in debt.
Yeah.
Well, the opposite of that is being in the black.
Right.
And the theory here is that many retail stores would operate at a loss for a big portion of the year, and then starting with the holiday season, they'd start turning a profit.
Right.
So
this sort of kicked them into the black.
This started kicking them back into the black.
That makes sense.
And it kind of earned a new twist on the old connotations.
Well, I gotta say, I have not very often participated in Black Friday, mainly because A, I don't like crowds, and B, I don't like shopping. But I did one time.
Why are we doing this show?
Well, I thought one time I'd get in the spirit of it, and our buddy Brian, co-host with me on the Linux Action Show, he and I thought it would be super hilarious if we got a Zune and then did a review of the Microsoft Zune on the Linux Action Show, and just had a great time with it. Like had parodies of like having trouble getting to sync with our desktop software and stuff like that. And so, but we didn't want to pay full price for a Zune, right? I mean, it's a Zune. No.
Who would? Right.
Right. And I'd never shop at, it was either Walmart or Kmart. I can't remember, but I don't ever really tend to shop at either one of them. But they had a Zune on sale for $80. Like a decent-sized one, too. Like a 16 or 32 gigs, I think. It might have even been a 32 gig. Whatever it was. It was the last generation.
Years ago.
Yeah, so it was like two generations.
MP3 players were still kind of pricey.
Yeah, it was a hard drive-based MP3 player, and it was that brown one, too. It was going to be a brown one, which was perfect. And so we thought, all right, $80 for this gag, we'll do it. And so we said, we'll get down there. And the store opened up like at 7 a.m., I think, or something like that. So we and it was a pretty cold November, like we're having right now, where the road, there was definitely snow and ice on the road, and we especially took my truck because we needed the 4-wheel drive to make sure we could get in and get out and stuff like that. And so it was cold outside. So we got down at this Walmart parking lot at 5:30 a.m. in Everett, and it was cold. But the worst part is there was already a line around the building. There was already a line around the building. This is
common.
And there was people out there, freezing cold.
A super Walmart.
So we sat in the truck for a little bit, like, what do we do now? We eventually went and stood in line, and we stood outside in the cold, and then we busted in, and we never even got the Zune because the gal right in front of us got the last one.
Oh, well, at least you didn't get trampled like the poor Walmart worker did in New York back in 2008.
Yeah, now this is pretty scary.
To death.
This happened in New York, you said?
This is the kind of horror stories. Yeah, in New York.
Green Acres Mall Valley, yeah.
Apparently they were just about to open the doors. One of the eyewitnesses was saying that like the employees inside were like riling up the crowd, getting them really excited, and the crowd broke the front doors down, shattered the glass front doors, charged into the store, and trampled people, and including a Walmart greeter that was killed in the trample.
That's sad. That's not the line of duty you want to die in. I mean, I don't mean like to put down anybody that works at Walmart. I just mean there's better things you'd rather die doing.
But you don't want to give your life.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. Boy, okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any horror stories or anything like that? Oh, go ahead.
Personal horror stories? No, actually, because I have avoided this day like the plague. No, I have a brother who worked at Starbucks for several years, and he actually worked in one that was in one of those shopping center mini mall areas that had like a Best Buy and a Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
All that kind of stuff. TJ Maxx. So that place was a crazy wild house on Black Friday. They had people lined up 2 days before Thanksgiving, like starting on the Tuesday in front of the Best Buy, because I think like the 360 was coming out that year or something, or the PS3 or something.
Oh, really?
It was a big year.
Yeah, I remember.
There was a huge deal. And so they had to get extra people on at Starbucks on the corner just to cater to the people that were standing in line, just hanging out. They did like deliveries and stuff like that. People are crazy for this holiday. That I don't want to call it a holiday.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate. And I've got actually a few more links in the show notes here about some other Gizmo to put up an article about horror stories from Black Friday, and mainstreet.com, there's one in there as well.
Yeah, these are some epic show notes. You head over to jupiterbroadcasting.com. In there, you'll find the post for this episode of Jupiter Night. In those show notes, crazy great articles, tons of great trampoline video stories. Also, a little bit of a shameless plug. We do have some wish lists in there, including one for a couple of the hosts like Jeremy.
Well, since we're on the internet, we should really talk about Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday is also, I got to be honest, my personal shopping day. I don't really get into the Black Friday. I'm avoiding that altogether. I really do get after Cyber Monday.
When you shop from comfort
just
of your
packet,
office.
just trampling of packets.
Right. So that comes out on Monday the following, and that was actually only started in 2005, I guess. Like a conglomerate of different retailers got together and said, people shop online a lot on the Monday after. We should do sales online the Monday after.
Yeah, I think I remember the genesis of this was some sort of BS story, like back before broadband was very popular at home. They said that what people would do is they would go into their workplace on Monday and use their workplace broadband to shop. Now, yep. I buy that, being that I worked in IT, when people only had dial-up at home and all that.
2005. That was like the
I remember, work did still have your better broadband. Now I think a lot of people actually have faster speeds at home, at least for their personal selves.
Now, one of the interesting, really, really interesting sides I have about this is I actually asked, my brother's in retail this year as well. So I asked him if he had any personal horror stories about the lead up to Black Friday.
Oh, interesting.
He actually said they haven't been allowed to know anything about what's going to hit them on Black Friday. Now, he works at a major chain. I don't want to tell you which one, really, but they're going to have a huge sale this weekend, but they're not allowed to tell their employees what they're selling or for what prices, with fear that it'll get out on the internet and the competitors will begin having competitive sales.
Oh, yeah, sure. Weird? Yeah, because they might leak it to somebody else. I could buy it.
Now, this goes so far as that back in a couple years ago, some major retailers went out and tried to use the takedown system from the DMCA, the Digital Millennium
Copyright Act, yeah.
Yeah, that one. They tried to use the takedown system of that, claiming that their sales were copyrighted information and trying to get these tip sites that were giving out leaks ahead of time, trying to get them to take their lists offline. I mean, that's how serious they are.
Were they successful?
Lawsuits over it. No, because it's not. They're not copyrighted. But just the simple act of those big 80 retailers saying, "Hey, take down your site," did scare quite a few of them into shutting down.
That is, yeah. You know, there's a big movement right now with Google and the rumors that they're going to buy Groupon, which is a huge coupon site, and all this stuff. This coupon stuff is getting to be big business online, so it doesn't surprise me to see some of these guys going after those guys because they want to, they want Walmarts and the Targets and all those guys are really big on controlling that. So I think it's going to be an interesting battle coming forward. And if something breaks down, if something comes up like a lawsuit between some of these big companies and some of these independent group,
that's right up our alley.
Yeah, I know that's something I'm going to totally want to talk about. So I'm going to watch it for sure. Now, so are you planning to do any Cyber Monday shopping? Do you have any Cyber Monday sites that you hit?
Cyber Monday. Oh yes.
Yeah,
I'm staying off the roads for Black Friday. Mainly because they'll probably still be snowy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cyber Monday comes around, I will be doing some shopping, and I hope you will too, Internet, because like Chris said, we put our wish lists in our show notes.
What is one of your favorite shopping sites? I got to give a plug.
Personally, other than Amazon, as they carry everything, but thinkgeek.com.
Yep, that's mine too. I'm a big ThinkGeek fan.
Pretty much 100% of everything they carry would be on my wish list.
Yeah, I like Jinx.com too for clothing.
Now, another thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Another thing that I've included in our show notes is some shopping helpers. If any of you out there are going to be heading out for Black Friday, we've got a newbie tips for surviving it, and we've also got some Cyber Monday safety tips, like how to spot false sales and false sites and stuff like that.
Huh. Oh,
also, an app. Chris, you would love this app.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
This app basically has a database of all the sales being updated, and when you scan in a barcode, if you're at a location, it'll tell you whether or not you're getting the best deal on that item.
Oh, and compared to
I've got a link to that app in our show notes.
I would say I think a lot of people in our audience, they probably know a lot of like how to tell the sites and stuff like that. We've had a few requests though in the IRC chat room, so I'm glad we put those links in there too. But also, if you have a relative online who's maybe not as computer savvy, it might also be worth emailing them. Some of those links, because I'm just thinking of like my mom and my dad shopping online on Monday. I think maybe I'll throw those links their direction. That might help them out a little bit. So, anything else you want to cover about Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Not really. If you're watching this on the internet, the chances are you love me to bits and pieces. So buy me things.
You're so shameless. You are so shameless. All right, everyone. Well, that just wraps up. What? No, it's fine. You can be shameless on the internet.
I'm just giving people the opportunity to show me how much they love me.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, everyone.
I'm just giving them the opportunity to show their love.
I understand. Now, tonight's episode will mark the last episode for this week's run of Jupiter Night, but we'll be back next week with a full Tuesday through Thursday lineup. And also, just a reminder for the Stoked fans out there, there'll be no Stoked this Saturday. We're taking the day off for the holidays, which means no Stoked next week, but the weekend after that, we'll be back with a new episode. So I think that means, if you're one of the live audience members, our next live show is going to be the Linux Action Show on Sunday at 10 a.m. at its regular time. So, all right, James, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone, thanks so much for watching tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you next week.
Good.
You're amazing.